Yellow. George, what's up, man? Yeah, good, yeah, just chilling. Yeah, about to record in a minute. Yeah, no, nothing really big has happened, but yeah, you got any news? You're driving? Awesome. I'm really happy for you. Awesome. I didn't think Hamilton's that old. I don't think he'll retire very soon. It's good. You got some other news for us? Jordan Con... Oh, I don't really care about that, mate. But yeah, have a good one, yeah. And I can do the video on my own, that's okay. Cheers, bye-bye. The land of the rising sun could have been changed to the land of the silver arrows. They dominated Japan all through the weekend. Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas taken Japan by storm. Now Mercedes should be on top of the world as they head into the US Grand Prix next weekend, as Lewis Hamilton could be taking his 5th World Championship. Now the team from Brackley will be celebrating all the time, but unfortunately they've got to say goodbye to one of their drivers at the end of the season. 20-year-old driver Goerge Russell, who was the 3rd place reserve driver alongside Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, British driver and the leader of the F2 Championship, obviously absolutely dominating that series, is going to be leaving at the end of this season to go to Williams and become a Formula 1 driver, be on the Formula 1 grid for next year, and that'll make 3 British drivers, obviously something that we haven't seen since 2016, obviously a massive thing. He is going to be another British driver in Formula 1 now. Obviously he is absolutely dominating the F2 Championship, as I've just said. It's really exciting that he's now going to the Oxfordshire-based team, obviously the proper British team in Formula 1. Obviously there's only 2 proper British teams in Formula 1, obviously McLaren and Williams. Obviously it's fantastic to see him go there. Now in terms of who he's replacing, we're not too sure on that. Obviously it could be Lance Stroll. Obviously, of course, he could be going to Force India. Sergio Sirocco, obviously the driver at the back of the World Championship grid. Obviously it's not clear where he is going at the moment, but obviously to see George going to Williams is absolutely great. We're really excited to see what he can do as he breaks through into Williams and obviously becomes just yet another driver to be signed in this 2018 silly season, obviously heading into 2019. As you say, he absolutely dominates the F2 World Championship. Obviously he's not looking like he's going to be stopped, obviously driving an unbelievable race, getting loads of backing from Mercedes, obviously being their 3rd place driver. Obviously through the years he'll have gained a lot of experience from people like Lewis and Valtteri, obviously people behind the scenes like Toto Wolff, Bonington, people like that, obviously who will have been backing his career and obviously putting in all the time for him in the simulator and things like that. As you can just see at the start, he just rang me on the phone there. Obviously he was really excited. He said it's been a long time coming and he's really excited. It's been a long road to get to this position, and yeah, we really couldn't be more excited for him. Obviously he's absolutely loved as a driver, obviously a young driver, you know, got loads of backing from everyone who watches his career unfold, and yeah, just really unbelievable to be in Williams. Obviously an unbelievable team, loads of pedigree. And unfortunately, you know how they're playing out in 2018, obviously they are really struggling at this time. Obviously I've never seen them that bad. It really isn't great. Obviously Lance and Sergio, you know, not really confident in the car, you know, not really confident in what they've been given. Really Williams on the back foot, but you know, he's in Formula 1, he's going to be alongside Lewis and of course Lando Norris of McLaren, a British driver at a proper British team, obviously proper British team being British origins and obviously a British base. A lot of them are, but obviously Mercedes was German and stuff like that. So obviously you got Williams, proper British team, McLaren, proper British team, Lewis Hamilton, proper Brit, could be going for his 5th, you know, really exciting to see that. But yeah, I'm really excited for him to be in Formula 1 obviously this year. Most likely going to win the Formula 2, no, he is going to win the Formula 2 season this year, and obviously then just a great promotion up to Formula 1. I'm obviously really happy to see what he can achieve, and yeah, just it's going to be fantastic for him. Equality and diversity in sports has never been at its highest point, with loads of sports all around the world offering equal competition for men and women to achieve the greatness in their chosen sports. But the one sport that's never really been able to do that is Formula 1. It's been a male-dominated sport for many years. Obviously all the drivers on the grid have been men drivers, and that's been that way for a long time. Obviously, you know, something needs to be changed about that, especially with all the women fans in Formula 1. For example, like you go to Silverstone in Monza and Spa, and there's loads of women in the stands watching Formula 1. And of course, they can get behind men drivers and men teams but there needs to be some women in Formula One. Obviously, there's women sports racing categories coming up through the ranks, but there never is a one that is accelerating women drivers into Formula One. But there could be something now on the horizon which is going to help with that change. It is the Formula 3 W Series, which has been launched, and that is going to be now the first implemented women's only event for 2019. And basically the main purpose is obviously to get them racing and to get the drivers, the very talented drivers, into Formula 1, and obviously they're getting backing through other drivers. So I'll tell you how it works. So basically this This setup was created by David Coulthard, obviously the ex-Red Bull driver, Scottish driver, obviously really behind the equality of Formula 1, and also being backed by chief engineer, obviously at Red Bull Racing, Adrian Newey. And it's basically the Formula 3 race, obviously with the Halo cockpit and the 2019 specifications, which has been set up for women drivers to compete next year in a 6-round European event, which basically where they'll have different categories where they can win a prize fund of up to $500,000 US, with the main prize obviously of winning like the World Championship equivalent being $1.5 million US, which will at this point help them get into Formula 1. Obviously, which, as you know, funds and of course driving ability is needed for Formula 1. With this series that's been set up, obviously it'll give the women a lot of profiling and a lot of encouragement, a lot of backing and a lot of support to try and get into Formula 1 this way, and I think that's absolutely fantastic being set up. Obviously the women drivers will be chosen on talent to get in to this competitive, obviously, so we're looking at the world's best women drivers who will be competing in this series, and yeah, I just think it's absolutely fantastic for women to get into the sport, because obviously, as you know, it's as I said at the start, you know, we have 22 men drivers on the grid, and of course, you know, there is very talented women drivers out there. You've got Susie Wolff, you've got Carmen Jordan, people like that, obviously, who just need their shot in Formula 1. And I think this is absolutely a great opportunity for them to go for that. Obviously, the calendar hasn't been put out just as yet, but it will be 6 rounds in Europe, hopefully with expanding races into Asia, into North and South America, Australia, places like that, which obviously so they'll be getting more fans around the world as this progresses. But I do think this is really, really fantastic, especially with the prize that are on offer as well. So if you win this, you get the prize of obviously $1.5 million. You are a millionaire. Spend it how you like, but obviously the main goal is to get you into Formula 1. And obviously we all know teams, for example, like I just mentioned, Williams, are very much behind getting women drivers into Formula 1, obviously with their main driver, Susie Wolff, obviously trying to get through into Formula 1 and getting through to racing. And I think this is absolutely fantastic. I think this is absolutely great for Formula 1 and basically the FIA and motorsport to see. It is backed by DTM, which is a German motorsport, like their touring car system, obviously, which is Pascal Wehrlein and many people from Mercedes obviously coming through the ranks. I think it's just a really great thing for them to see. Obviously gives women drivers a big chance to get into Formula 1 and get into motor racing in general. It doesn't have to be Formula 1, obviously it could be let's say other categories. You know, they might be setting the sights on F2 or Rallycross, WEC, World Endurance. You've got the Le Mans and maybe Indianapolis 500, you know, the IndyCar, NASCAR. You know, basically, you know, there's no stopping what they can do. Obviously it's a great series that's set up, and obviously yeah, it launches in 2019, obviously for next season. And yeah, it's just really, really great to hear about this. Obviously, it's just new, very fresh idea that's come out. Obviously, I can't wait to see what other people say about it. There's no doubt when the US press conference goes on, obviously there'll be a lot of people, there'll be a lot of drivers talking about it, and there'll be questions or two about it. And yeah, it just will be a really, really great opportunity for them to do. You know, maybe we will be seeing a female driver in Formula 1 in 21, 22, 23, but very, very soon anyway. And of course they're going to get the backing of basically the teams and everyone, because it's going to be a monopoly really. You know, if you have the only female Formula 1 driver, that's going to be such a big thing to have. You know, you're going to get all the support from from a lot of people. Obviously all the females watching Formula 1, I imagine they will say, oh look, I can support you know, so and so at Williams, and of course it's just going to be an unbelievable thing to see. It's going to be a change in Formula 1. Obviously we've never had that before. We've had test drivers, yeah, don't get me wrong, but obviously an actual driver who will be in for the whole weekend will just be great to see for the sport. It'll be a real change. We won't have seen anything like that before. and yeah, just think how much it'll actually change things. It'll be really great, and obviously again it'll make Formula 1 more diverse, because as I say, it's been a male dominated industry for obviously a very long time. It will change that to get women in, and it will just get them interested in Formula 1, maybe the automotive side, and the engineering side, of course the racing side. Basically what can happen from this, the permutations from what can happen with this is just really unbelievable. And I wish Jordan was here so we could ask him, what he thinks. Obviously I know he'll have a lot of views about this as well, and yeah, so personally I think it's a great idea. We both think it's a great idea. I can even just talk for him, he'll definitely agree with us, saying it's a great idea. And yeah, obviously we'll be talking about it on the next episode, but yeah, it'll just be, it is really is great. As I say, backed by David Coulthard. It's also backed by the FIA, but obviously he was the main guy to set it up, obviously along with Adrian Newey as well, Derek Warwick. Other people have funded and and encouraged this series, but mainly the guy who set it up, obviously in partnership with the DTM, is David Coulthard. Obviously I think it's an absolutely fantastic thing, and yeah, if you win you could be $1.5 million richer. So yeah, I think it's really an absolutely unbelievable achievement, and obviously well done for the FIA, well done to DTM, and well done for Formula 3 W Series for setting this up, and hopefully we could be seeing a driver on the grid, in the next few years, which, I can almost put money on. I think there will be a female driver on the grid in the next few years, not just for testing, but for the full event. And then also competing against people like Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen, and that would be an unbelievable, that would be a great thing to see, to get to that stage where they could be battling Max Verstappen and people like that, because obviously in sport, you can't, women, they have different series, they have different leagues, obviously women's rugby and men's rugby, but in Formula 1 you could then compete against a man and could win, you could beat them. Stoffel van Dorn is the young Belgian Formula 1 driver driving for McLaren for the last two seasons, obviously 2017 and the current 2018 World Championship season. And after the Belgian Grand Prix, where he finished plumb last in his home race, he was replaced by Lando Norris, obviously the young British driver from Formula 2, to replace him for the 2019 season. Obviously, Stoffel van Dorn, the 2015 GP2 World Championship winner, as it was called then, obviously definitely deserves to be in a racing category, obviously with the FIA. And in the last few days, he's been linked with a Mercedes-based team called HW Race Lab Team, which is a Formula E Series team battling in the midfields, and he's rumoured to be joining them for the 2019 season. And obviously, I still think Stoffel van Dorn is a strong driver, and obviously he deserves to be in an FIA racing category, obviously depending on whatever that is along the spectrum. Definitely deserves to be racing. Obviously Formula 1 wasn't for him, obviously he wasn't making much use obviously of the McLaren Honda engine that he was given in 2017, and of course obviously nothing on the McLaren Renault engine that he was given for this season, but he definitely deserves to be in a Formula. He definitely deserves to be in a Formula series or a racing series, retrospectively. And obviously, I do think that he needs to go somewhere and race. Obviously, whether that go back to F2, maybe obviously because Goerge Russell is gone, maybe fill his seat, or go to Formula E. But obviously, I definitely believe that he should be in Formula 1. He should be in he should be in racing. Somewhere along the board, because if he's very talented, and obviously he deserves to be there. Obviously, he showed in 2015, obviously almost dominating the season, obviously winning the F2 World Championship in 2015. He's shown then that he deserves to be in a racing seat, so obviously we wish him all the best in trying to achieve his seat in Formula E. He's also, on the flip side, he's also been talked with Toro Rosso and Sauber, obviously with talks about being with them for that season. Obviously Toro Rosso is looking to be confirmed, obviously they're two drivers, and obviously Sauber is definitely confirmed, obviously with Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Räikkönen. Obviously Toro Rosso are still debating, obviously with Brendan Hartley, and obviously whether there's going to be Daniel Kvyat or somebody returning. Daniel Kvyat is confirmed, but obviously whether Brendan Hartley is going to be staying in that Formula 1 seat. But as we know, Stoffel van Dorn is in talks with that. Formula E is, I think it's higher in his priority. I think he's going to go to Formula E, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, but Stoffel, you've got all of our. We wish you the best in your driving, because we know you were a skilled driver with McLaren, and obviously as you go forward, obviously I hope you get what you want in racing. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention in this episode was obviously Lewis Hamilton in the last few days has come on to Instagram, and he's come out with a bit of a statement on Sebastian Vettel, obviously saying that the media should be giving him more respect because obviously it's so hard to basically be a Formula 1 driver and race at that level. And obviously with all of the heat that Sebastian Vettel's getting, obviously making mistakes, and really losing his own world championship. Obviously, he must be feeling very, must be feeling down on himself, and apparently, and the media is giving him a lot of stick. And obviously, Lewis Hamilton is very, graciously come out and said, obviously, back off media, give him some, give him some more respect. Obviously, give him the respect that he deserves, because it is hard to be a Formula 1 driver. Now, we both think that it is a good thing that Lewis Hamilton has done now. Obviously, he told the media that Sebastian Vettel, his rival, the guy who he should be, not saying bad mouth, but he is going against in the World Championship. Obviously, he's saying kind of back off it, give him a bit of space, give him a bit of time. Don't obviously make him feel any worse, because he should just be focused on driving. That's it, really, just driving the car, obviously working with the team. None of this media, none of the bad things that the media says. So obviously we think that it's a good thing that Lewis Hamilton has said. It's a very gracious thing. Obviously it's very good for obviously a competitor to say. Obviously because Sebastian Vettel, he's beaten Seb. It's a very good thing that he said. And obviously he said the media should be just basically letting them drive. And he has come out before and he said statements like that. He said that obviously, the media is turned Formula 1, against the racing side, and obviously that's all that should be important. Obviously, the racing side of Formula 1, obviously that he should just leave it to do that, because obviously Seb, he's not struggling, but obviously he is making a few more mistakes than Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, he's staring down the barrel of the US Grand Prix with a 67-point deficit, and obviously another point on his racing license, obviously from his collision with Max Verstappen. Obviously, that will definitely have helped his confidence. Obviously, with Lewis Hamilton on the other side of the spectrum, obviously doing an absolutely clean race and winning the Japanese Grand Prix, and as I say, obviously heading into the US Grand Prix where he could be lifting the World Championship. Obviously, I've forgotten the permutations off my head. We put them on the channel. But obviously with the lead that Lewis has, he could be lifting the World Championship in the US Grand Prix. But obviously Sebastian Vettel, he's still going for it. Obviously he still believes that he still can get it. Obviously, of course, they will. Ferrari still believe that they can get it. The media, obviously in Lewis's eyes, he believes that the media is just not kind of giving Sebastian, the right kind of amount of respect. And obviously, I agree with him completely. I think that it's he's done a good job. Obviously, we're saying to the media, back off, give Seb some space. Don't say all the horrible things about him, because obviously he is just racing and kind of just let Seb race, get a clean head. And obviously, if he's going to claw back anything from this season, go and do it. You might not win the World Championship, but just go and drive and just do what you do best, and try and get some points, try and get a win or two. Obviously, that would still be great. I still think Sebastian could get a win this season. My money is probably on, I would like to say, the Brazilian Grand Prix for Sebastian Vettel, obviously, which is the penultimate round of the season. I would like to put my money on Sebastian winning that. I believe that obviously with the tight car, obviously the amount of experience he has around that circuit, obviously with the car, with Ferrari's car, obviously it hasn't got a lot of straight line speed like Mercedes has. So I believe that the Brazilian Grand Prix might be in his grasp. But that's only my opinion. I do still believe that Seb can win a race. He won't win the World Championship, but never know. And again, they're still in the constructors' fight with Mercedes. Obviously, it's all to play for. And but that's obviously what Lewis Hamilton said. Obviously, he's getting a lot of praise from the Formula 1 community. Obviously, a lot of fans, teams have said, that's a good thing for him to say. Sebastian Vettel hasn't come out with a comment to Lewis yet, but obviously, I believe that he is very happy with what Lewis has said, and he might turn off his phone probably, because obviously he doesn't want to see the social media. But if he has, I would like to think that Seb would be nice and say, thanks Lewis, it's a nice thing to say. It's nice that you believe that the media should be kind of giving us some space, and I believe that also, and obviously we at the F1 Debate Show believe that as well. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching this episode. It's been a bit of a short episode today. Obviously a few little mini stories, obviously nothing massive on the Formula 1 grid at the moment. But obviously the big thing is, obviously next week we'll be back with another video, and obviously next week is the big US Grand Prix. I'm really excited for that race. Obviously I love racing, obviously I love America. I think it's a great place to race. Obviously Indianapolis was fantastic. I never agree with anyone who says the United States doesn't have a big backing for motor racing. for Formula One, because I believe that it does. Obviously, we see a lot of fans from Formula One as well. Obviously, I've met some people, especially when I was over in Italy and places like that. In Singapore, I met an American couple, which you think that's a very long way. That's the other side of the world for them. So I don't believe that at all. I think they have a massive Formula One base, and I'm really excited for that race. Love that race. Obviously, he's been on the calendar since 2012. But Lewis Hamilton has a big reputation of winning there. He's won in every round apart from 2013. So could we see a win from Lewis? Depending on where Seb finishes, he could be lifting. Lewis could be lifting his 5th World Championship. It's all exciting to see. But obviously you'll have to stay tuned for that race. Obviously stay tuned for our next episode next Saturday. And obviously then, until next time, guys. See you later.